In these bird droppings carry a dangerous plant seed, and any one of them can be enough to kill a towering tree. At first, they just took root and sprouted on the tree, which looked no different from ordinary plants. However, the tree will eventually be completely engulfed by the seeds. They first use the rotten leaves on the tree as soil and absorb energy frantically. A few months later, the seeds in the bird droppings grow into saplings. But their ambition goes far beyond that. These aerial roots are very tenacious and can grow continuously in the air for several years. The tree seems to be fine, but in fact, is being secretly surrounded by more and more aerial roots. They can grow to nearly 40 meters long in just a few years. They can grow from the canopy to the ground. When they reach the ground, their murderous nature begins to be exposed. They now need a large amount of nutrient supply to carry out the murder. And under these dead leaves, there is a hidden accomplice. The fungi in the forest are constantly decomposing dead animals and plants. They turn the corpses of animals and plants into nutrients that the roots can absorb. In return, the roots will supply the sugar produced by photosynthesis to feed the fungi. This was as early as 400 million years ago. Between plants and fungi, a symbiotic relationship had been established. With sufficient nutrients, the aerial roots will quickly develop and tightly wrap around the trunk. With time, the tree will be like being entangled by a python and can't break free. These increasingly thick aerial roots exert a strong mechanical pressure on the trunk. The tree's nutrient supply will eventually be interrupted. This is the plant killer strangler fig in the forest. However, this cage tailored for the trunk is not enough to completely kill the tree. To kill the root, they will also use chemical weapons to attack the roots of the tree. Underground strangler figs are also busy conquering. They first establish a high-density root system, occupying the growth space of the roots. The efficiency of these root clusters in absorbing minerals, twice as efficient as the tree. They also release various phenolic acids to inhibit the growth and development of tree roots. Strangler fig can even send a hormone called phytohormone called gibberellin to compete for the fungi that serve the tree. Once it loses the cooperation of underground fungi, the nutrition supply is basically cut off. Years later, The big tree still maintains a tall and towering posture, but its interior is already empty. In a few years, or even decades, the devoured trees will completely disappear due to decay. Death is the only way to get rid of strangler figs. Although strangler figs are ruthless to plants, it is very good at pleasing all kinds of animals. In order to spread the seeds, they provide different benefits. To compete for sunlight from the big tree, strangler figs are often taller than the canopy. Orangutans climbed more than 40 meters to find their fruits. The branches of strangler figs are always full of fruits all year round, and their flowers only bloom inside the fruits. This requires the employment of a special animal to participate in the busy pollination work. The bottom of these figs all had a secret passage. Only the female, the fig wasp, with a body length of less than 3 millimeters, can barely enter it. However, this process still comes at a painful cost. The narrow passage not only squeezes out the water from their bodies, but may also break their wings or even heads. But Rong Shaofeng will soon die inside. Wings are useless. It usually takes them an hour to enter the inside of the fig. The first thing that catches the eye is the flowers of strangler fig. They are waiting for the pollination service of the little wasp. But this the fig wasp dog prefers to lay eggs. They only lay eggs in flowers with shorter stigmas and release that can make these flowers swell. This process is so ingrained, some the fig wasps without heads can still lay eggs mechanically. Soon, the fig fruit completely closes its secret passage to ensure that the number of bee eggs does not exceed its flowers. Finally, Rong the fig wasp took out the pre-collected pollen from its abdomen and sprinkled them on the remaining flowers. These pollinated flowers will develop into the seeds of the jiaosharong. After completing its mission, he will die silently. A month later, the pollinated figs gradually began to mature, and hundreds of eggs parasitic in the figs have also begun to stir. These female flowers that have laid eggs have swelled into gall. The gall is like a placenta to nourish the larvae's development. The first to hatch must be the males. The males have strong upper jaws which can bite through the shell of the phantom by itself. As soon as they hatch, they will help the female break open the phantom and use their reproductive organs twice as long as their bodies to mate with the unhatched female. Only after completing the task of mating can the female break out of the shell. Since they can't eat by nature, the lifespan of the fig wasp is generally no more than 2 days. So as soon as they hatch, they immediately go to collect the pollen of male flowers to pollinate the next fig. Animally, fig wasp life is also coming to an end. Before they die, they will unite to bite the fig, to open a tunnel to the outside world for the female. But the end of the tunnel is the end of their lives. The smell of the male will immediately attract ants. But in order to cover the fertilized females, they swarm out. The fig will surround the hole. The males sacrifice themselves. They buy time for the females to escape. This strategy of sacrificing the pollens to save the king is very effective. Most of the females can fly away safely. The surviving females will find new figs and repeat a new round of the life cycle. And the mature figs will rely on animals to spread their offspring to more distant places.